In my living room. So today I'm going to talk about who are you. Now you may be thinking, I know who I am, and that's great. But in your business and to your clients and customers, who are you? Who are you to the world? Who are you to the great unwashed masses that have never heard of you? And how do you present yourself? That's what I want to help you discover and clarify today. So you need to define two key things to effectively sell your product or service, especially if your product or service is similar to those around you. Very few businesses are one of a kind. I mean, just look around. How many clothing stores, hardware stores, pest control companies, plumbers, restaurants, MLM companies, whatever, are truly unique? The first key is your USP. Now, that's an acronym that stands for Unique Selling Proposition or Unique Selling Point. The second key is your value proposition. Now, your USP and value proposition explain to your market why they should do business with you. You may be familiar with these terms, but you may not understand how to create them or how to use them and why it even matters. By the time we're done with this session, you'll be very clear on the what, how, and why of unique selling propositions and your value proposition. So let's start with some definitions. USPs and value propositions often get confused or blended together because they are very similar, and both fall under the category of things we hope to communicate to our market. Your unique selling proposition or a unique selling point is a clear, concise statement that helps the marketplace understand why they should choose you versus any and all of their options available to them. A USP can even summarize the overall mission of your business, your company, or your brand. Your value proposition is usually a little bit longer than a USP because it communicates the actual results or concrete outcomes, like the benefits that your products or services give to your customers. It reveals your solution and what it does to solve their problems or achieve their goals. It's what convinces your target market that they'll get value for their money, precisely describing what that value is. Now, it doesn't matter if you're in direct sales or network marketing or if you own an ice cream shop. Every business should have a clearly defined unique selling proposition and value proposition. These are different from slogans, logos, trademarks, company mission statements, and things like that. For example, let's talk about Nike. Now, they started out as Blue Ribbon Sports, a shoe company in the mid-1960s. Today, they have a slogan and a logo that most people can recognize, right? The logo is the little swoosh checkmark thing, and the slogan is just do it. But neither of those is their unique selling proposition. A person who had never heard of Nike wouldn't understand anything about what they do if they saw a sign that had the swoosh on it and just do it. If all you knew about Nike was their logo and slogan, what would that even mean to you? What would it say? It wouldn't convey anything, right? Absolutely nothing. There's no context whatsoever. And people spend an awful lot of time trying to figure out how to get their logo or slogan together. And honest to God, that is not what matters the most. I mean, sure, it may matter to you, it may matter to your mom, it may make people curious, but it's not going to drive business. So when it comes to you getting business, you have to make sure that people know what you have to offer and why they should choose you over any and all of their options. I doubt that 1 in a million people know what Nike's unique selling proposition is. And if you look back at it, and it doesn't really matter to Nike now because they've grown into an international brand with a customer base that perpetuates itself. And what I mean by that is Nike won customers who grew up clothing their kids in their brand, and then those kids grew up seeing those brand being used in local sports and professional athletes. And so they've just developed this as a habit. But their USP has been Nike provides the best quality clothing and shoes for athletes and professionals. And when you buy Nike products, you're buying products that were designed for professionals. And even though most people don't know that, that's what helped them grow. And you'd never become a Nike-sized brand without a great USP. So every entrepreneur, solopreneur, big business, international company needs to have a USP. Now let's talk about Nike's value proposition. Their focus is on providing superior products made out of the best available materials and latest technologies, which are also fashionable and worn by top athletes, sports stars, and they are accessible to anyone. And Nike offers products to inspire people to become an athlete. I mean, their products really rely on innovation and the status of the brand. This is the foundation of the brand, and it's exactly what the customers seek when they buy Nike. Now, there are four main segments of Nike's value proposition. First, accessibility. Nike has locations in both worldwide and local areas, and online shipment. Customers can easily find and buy their products in their everyday life no matter where they're at. Second is customization. Nike offers a service that allows you to personalize and customize your merchandise through online use. They also have physical studios in many countries where you can go in and do this. Third is innovation. Nike's team includes research labs and expert labs focusing on design and cutting edge products and testing. Advanced product creation centers, which incorporate technology into their products. And then final is brand status. Nike's signed contract with top professional MLB, NBA, and they've also signed deals with brands including sports stars like Cristiano Ronaldo, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods. And this puts value at the core of their value proposition. Now, I don't want my point to get lost in the shadow of a giant brand like Nike. USPs and value propositions are for solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, influencers, authors, anyone who must define their personal brand and be able to articulate what that means to make them different from all the competition. Now, let's take these things one at a time. First, the USP. The three things a USP must be is unique, memorable, and believable. Now, when I started in marketing, one of my mentors was Dan Kennedy. He's one of the best copywriters and direct response marketers in the world. My brother and I consulted with and worked with Dan on an ongoing basis. He was also a regular speaker at our live events, and in all of his presentations, Dan would hammer on the concept of having a unique selling proposition. One of the examples he gave was a company that you may know as well as Nike. He would mention this company and its USP, but he never would tell their whole story. So storytelling is one of the most powerful secrets I learned from Dan, and I love to tell stories because stories sell. People love stories, and you would do well to learn the power of using them if you want to crush it in your own marketing. But I digress. So let me just tell you a short story about this company. It was started by two brothers in 1960 named Tom and James. They had $500 to start and a lot of hope. And they took over the operation of a small restaurant in Michigan. The brothers borrowed $900 to pay for the business, and that's a total of $14,000 in today's money. They split the work hours, but pretty soon James decided he didn't want to do this. He didn't want to quit his full-time job as a postman to fulfill the demands of the new business. Within 8 months, he traded his half of the business to Tom, his brother, for a Volkswagen Beetle that they used. By 1965, Tom had purchased 2 additional restaurants for a total of 3 locations in the same county. He wanted the stores to have the same branding, but the original owner forbid him from using the original name, which was Dominic's. One day, an employee returned from a delivery suggesting the name Domino's, and Tom loved the idea and officially renamed the business to Domino's Pizza in 1965. But it wasn't until the early 1970s that they came up with their unique selling proposition, which was hot, fresh pizza delivered in 30 minutes or less, guaranteed, or it's free. Now that is one of the most powerful and concise, perfect, unique selling propositions that's ever been created. So let's break that down for just a minute. What did it promise? Hot, fresh pizza. All right, so you know exactly what you're going to get. You were going to get a hot pizza. You were going to get a fresh pizza. It was going to be delivered to you. It was going to be there in 30 minutes or less. Now, it may not seem like such a big deal now, but back then, before Domino's did this, when you ordered a pizza, it was a roll of the dice. You might get a cold pizza. You might get an old pizza. Maybe your pizza had been prepped hours in advance, so when it was cooked or reheated for your order, it wasn't very fresh. You could never count on an accurate arrival time. Maybe your pizza wouldn't show up at all. So these were the kinds of problems happening in the marketplace. So Domino's took a look at what was going on, and they made a decision about what they could do to solve the problems in the marketplace. All right, so hot, fresh pizza delivered to your door in 30 minutes or less. That was a big thing. But they didn't stop there. They made it even stronger with a guarantee. If you didn't get the pizza delivered to you in 30 minutes or less, then the pizza was free. This really raised the bar in the entire industry. There are some important things to realize here. Domino's didn't promise the best pizza, right? They didn't promise handmade dough or a secret family sauce recipe from Tuscany. They didn't even promise that their ingredients were good. They didn't promise anything about the texture or flavor of the pizza crust, right? All they did was promise hot, fresh pizza delivered in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. and they expanded like crazy by opening locations near military bases and schools, places where people wanted pizza at all hours and needed it on time. And on the strength of those promises, they dominated the marketplace for years. Sadly, they eventually had to change the USP later because consumers started, looking at their watches and pushing for free pizzas if the drivers were like a minute late. And also there were, tremendous pressure on the drivers to hit the times, and that meant that they would speed, and eventually one had an accident and Domino's got sued and they had to change their policy. Also, Pizza Hut and Papa John's took back market share by capitalizing on things that Domino's wasn't doing, like offering better sauce, better crust, better ingredients, and extra touches. For example, the free pepperoncinis and garlic butter with every Papa John's pizza. That was a big thing. But for over a decade, Domino's dominated, and they have been smart and creative enough to get back to the number one spot now. The point being is able to differentiate what you do and explain it to the marketplace in a way that will attract people who want what you have to offer. That's essential to your success. Your USP should focus on the niche or the need in the marketplace and deliver a promise that you can make. Your unique selling proposition is what sets you and your products or services apart from your competitors and clearly tells them the benefits. Okay, so you have a definition and a real-world example of the importance. Now let's go through the 3 simple questions to help you create your USP. And again, every business must have at least one USP. Some businesses can have many, so you may need to go through this a number of different times before you nail it. The core building blocks of the USP are: 1, what is your differentiating factor? The thing that makes you unique from competitors. The unique solutions you provided that address your buyers' problems better than your competitors. Some customers are cost-focused. Others want the most superior, innovative products. Some customers expect the best customer service, while others want to be able to quickly get a reliable product without much hassle. Number 2, who is your target customer? You might think of this as your audience, your avatar, your buyer persona. We have a lot of buzzwords for this, but it is specifically who you're trying to help. All too often, business owners are trying to get market to the masses. They want to appeal to everyone, and that might be a potential customer. When you speak to everyone, you connect with no one. So number 3 is, what is their unmet need or want? What it is that you can solve? What problems do your customers have that you can solve? What pain are they struggling with that you can alleviate? Your unique selling proposition is what sets your business and your product or your service apart from your competitors. Your USP can be an actual fact or a perceived difference or a specialty. Once you get clarity on who you help and the results you deliver, you'll be much closer to succinctly explaining to anyone that you come in contact with what it is you do and for who. That will enable people to immediately identify whether or not what you offer is a good fit, something they want and need. Now, another point to keep in mind is a USP is different from your elevator pitch. Your elevator pitch is a short, persuasive description that creates interest in what you do and the solutions you provide. We'll talk about that in another session. So keep your primary differentiator in your mind as you draft your USP. Now, here's one way to approach it. Describe your customer persona. A strong USP is grounded in who your target market is, what they want, both today and ultimately what motivates their purchase decisions. Be as specific as possible in defining your ideal customer. Describe the problem that you solve. Verbalize the solution that you offer. It requires a close understanding of the needs of your target market. Think back to the Domino's example. What challenges are your prospects staring in the face, and how does that make them feel? How is it crippling their lives? Exactly how does what you offer meet that need? What do their lives look like after that solution? How specifically are their lives improved? Identify your differentiating factors and list like 3 to 5 of the most important benefits a customer gets from working with you they wouldn't get with your competitors. Is it service, selection, speed, convenience, dependability, customization, warranty, price? These things and more are all up for grabs here. What makes you the irresistible choice? Now, one thing I want to caution you on is don't go with the lowest price. Lowest price is a race to the bottom, okay? Determine your promise. The USP is essentially a promise, and it would be appropriate to think of it that way. What's the one beneficial thing your customers will experience with you, hands down, every time? Your promise may be implied rather than expressed in the USP, but it's worth communicating. You need to know it, and so does your team if you have one. So Combine, edit, and trim away the fat. Begin creating these ideas into complete thoughts until you've said everything you want to say, and then edit ruthlessly until you have one main benefit and one differentiator. You're aiming for a 2-sentence max statement. So it's not absolutely essential to say everything your prospects need. You want to keep it short and powerful. All right, you can bounce ideas off, your friends, business associates, anyone that can give you intelligent and impartial feedback. And ask them if they think that it's believable, open-minded. No matter how many. When I say open-minded, no matter how many times you have to rewind this or redo this, it's okay. It doesn't have to be something that you get nailed the first time out. Take some time to figure it out. Now, on to the value proposition. Okay, this is the strategy that you choose to separate yourself from the competition. This is based on how the customer defines value, such as convenience of purchase, service after the sale is made, product dependability, range of choices, and so on. There are 3 categories of customer value propositions, and one of these may suit your business best, or you may prefer to use a combination of them. First one is customer intimacy. Second one is operational excellence, and the third is product leadership. So customer intimacy centers around messaging that says, choose us because we can customize our products and services to meet your individual needs better than the competition. Operational excellence centers around messaging that says we can deliver products and services faster and more conveniently. This often may include doing so at a lower price, like Amazon and Walmart. They're great examples of that strategy. And then product leadership centers around messaging that says you should choose us because we offer a higher quality product than our competitors. Apple, Orange Theory Fitness, my Go cards are examples of this kind of product leadership. And avoid bureaucracy at all costs because it slows down things. I don't even want to get into that. Anyway, so how do you start with a good value proposition? Well, they contain 3 main components. And these actually happen to be the same elements contained in all direct response marketing. A headline, which is an attention grabber that shouts out the primary benefits, typically not the same benefit the USP offers, but your primary benefit will be different if you have multiple segments of your business. Then a subhead. Now that is a headline or a sentence that explains the offering in more detail, firmly connecting with that first segment, like the pain points. And then a list of primary benefits. You'll use some of the same information that you use for your USP when you create this, focusing on the desires, emotional connections, benefits. What are the unspoken needs? What does your offering deliver? What are the benefits? And really quick, feature and benefit are different. Okay, a 12 megapixel camera on your phone is a feature. The fact that it allows a novice to take a beautiful, crystal clear picture, that is a benefit. All right. And if you're using this on a web page or in any visual media, adding an image might be a photo of the product or a graphic that depicts the benefits. So, you may even consider using a video if your offering is complex enough or unique enough that it requires further explanation. So try not to exceed 2 minutes when you're, going into this value proposition description, all right? Like if you're making a video or something. If you're writing for your own business, asking yourself the right questions will help you focus on the information that really matters when putting your value proposition together. So I know we've covered a lot. If you need more help, please download the worksheets and go through the steps. Once you get clear on that, then move on to the next lesson. But remember, this is extremely important. Understanding who you are and what you offer to the marketplace and being able to communicate that in a crystal clear, compelling way is going to make a massive difference in the success of your business and attracting the right clients and customers. So I hope you enjoyed this session, and I look forward to talking to you in the next one.